everyone, I Prayas Vahao welcome you all on behalf of the Team Star to episode 2, Coding Envision of our new series SAFARNAMA, The Dreamers and the Doers. But today we have Ms. Pareksha Manchanda, currently working as a software developer engineer at Google. She had been an intern at Goldman and Amazon, and yes, got the PPO from both as well. She had cracked GSOC in the very first year of her college, and during her college days, she was a 5-star coder at CodeChef. She has a keen interest in cartoonist, digital art, and like dancing, traveling, and the list goes on. बहुत बड़ी list है मैम के interest के लिए. So yes, तो सब कुछ मेरे बताने से better रहेगा कि आज हम मैम से face to face discuss कर ही लेते हैं सारी बातें. Like how she reached here, like what were the struggles she had faced during her coding journey, how she developed interest in digital art, and और भी काफी कुछ बातें. So yes, guys, first of all, very heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am, for joining us today.
Hi everyone. Glad to be here. So, okay, I can start from a little bit introduction about myself. So,
yes, ma'am.
Most of it you have already covered. So, I'm currently working at Google. I graduated from UIET in 2021, and my first job, not as an intern, is with Google only. So I've been working, it's been like 6 to 7 months now in Google at that position as a software engineer. Before this, I have done a 6 months intern with Amazon and a summer internship with Goldman as well, all virtual. I haven't been to office. And other than that, my hobbies include digital art, traveling, and I do a little bit dance for exercise as well.
Yeah, that sounds really soro कि अभी तक like you are still doing work virtually. But कोई नहीं, we all are suffering from this. Being as a college students, we are like in the morning like laptops के आगे बैठ रहे and classes going on, and everyone is suffering from this. So it's all right. So let's begin this by like, how are you, ma'am? How is your life going on, and like what major changes that come in your life after joining Google?
Okay, so after joining Google, I feel like the most the most prominent change that came to my life was, so when you are in college, you have this liberty of not working on certain days when you don't feel like. In office, it is like you have to work on a working day. You will have to attend meetings. You will if it is not a weekend, not a holiday, then even if you don't feel like working, you have to work on a particular day. And the second change I would say is on focus. So for example, in college, if you have certain Zoom meetings, certain lectures you are not interested in, you just skim through them, right? You just like put the Zoom call and put aside your phone or tablet, whatever it is. But here, even if you are not interested in listening to certain stuff, or you're not up for doing certain projects, you still have to be attentive and listen to what your manager is saying. So there won't be any excuse. If the manager calls out your name, then you can't say you were sleeping at that time, right?
So what should I say? Is it become more rigorous, or it's going on smoothly?
It has been smooth, I guess, because in every company, as you join, you get a person who is your mentor, and certain questions that you're not willing to answer in a big audience, you can just ask that person. Other than that, Google has like a very friendly environment, and it also certainly depends on what team you get. So it is less about what organization you are associated with, but more about how your team members are willing to accept you and basically help you grow. So I was lucky enough to have a great team in Amazon as well as a great team at Google here. So that has helped me a lot. Secondly, weekends become a very big thing here. So in college, it is like all 7 days are almost the same. You only on Saturday and Sunday you don't have lectures. Other than that, if you are doing certain projects, or if you are doing like competitive programming and your personal things, then Saturdays and Sundays are mostly the same, right? Because you're all working from home. You don't have to like leave hostel and go to home and do
Yeah.
certain things like that. Yeah. In here, weekends are a big thing. So everyone waits for the weekends to come to relax a bit. That's all. Yeah.
So like how many hours are you working in a day?
Oh, okay, okay. So that also depends on company to company. In Amazon, it was really a 9 to 5 job, I can say, or 9 to 6. So most of the work I would finish at that time only. Also, I was an intern, so there was not a lot of work burden. I think that also contributed to the, short working hours. And really, 9 to 5, if you're working 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, they are really short because in Google, we have cross teams. So we have team members in Mountain View, US as well. There, we have to collaborate with them as well. So we have certain meetings that are really late at night, like 9:30 or 10 p.m. or certain meetings that are really morning, like 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m. So Google has flexible working hours kind of thing.
So great, great.
Other than this, there is a concept of on-call. So if there is a breakage in your system or there is any production bug or anything that needs urgent attention, then one person of your team is on call. So that person will be paged. He'll get a message that this bug is there, and no matter what hour of day or night it is, he has to get on that bug and address it immediately. And that keeps on rotating. So one person 1 week, then it shifts to the other person for the other week, and that keeps on rotating to the entire team. And that concept is present everywhere, like in each and every organization.
So if I talk about the work pressure, so do you believe like better the company and the lesser the work pressure is? Or is
No,
it not so?
work pressure is hard everywhere. No matter which company you join, it will always be there. And work pressure is something that you decide how much you want to take. So if you want to do your work, so for example, you are going for a promotion, or you want to, you know, show your skills to your manager, your teammates. You are willing to put on that extra pressure on yourself. Then that's up to you. If you want to, get on the ladder in a relaxing manner, not taking too much of work pressure, then that is also up to you. So you have to find a certain balance in between these two things, because both of the things we want, right? We want things to be relaxed as well, but we want to climb the ladder as fast as we can. So you have to take upon yourself. So what is the balance? Where do you find that balance exactly?
Great, great. Like
And it
sounds
is
like
with
really
every
great.
company. It is with every company. So don't think if you're at Amazon, there's a lot of work pressure. If you're at Google, then there is a certain bit of less work pressure. The incentives may be more, so you may be getting more pay, more bonus, etc. But work pressure will always be there.
So like it's just a myth that has been created by us only कि companies में work pressure differ करता है.
Actually, it differs from team to team, very specific. So if you are on an infrastructure team where many people are using your services, then obviously if there is something wrong with your code, there is a production bug, or there is something that needs immediate fixing, then because a lot of feature teams that depend on your team get affected, so you have to address that immediately. If you are on a team that develops certain features or certain products that use infrastructure from other teams, then basically only your feature is getting affected, then the on-call is a little bit lighter. So it depends on the type of team, the people that you have in your team culture, more than the big organization.
So like our surroundings matters a lot. You know?
Yeah. Your team would be like a little startup that you have that is funded by VCs or leadership of the big organization. You can think of it in that manner.
Great, great. So ma'am, like how is the journey so far from UIT to Google? लाइक क्या बचपन से कभी कुछ ऐसा आपने माइंडसेट था कि टेक्निकल साइड में ही जाना है, या कॉलेज मार्केट साइड हुआ?
बचपन से आई विल नॉट से कोई ऐसा माइंडसेट था. It eventually came for me when I was in like 12th standard. Then I thought I don't want to I thought I wanted to pursue computer science for sure, and that is why I landed in UIT. So I was getting electronics and tech, but I thought no, I just want to do computer science only, so I don't want to risk the chances. So at that time I knew that I wanted to get into big tech companies, and that is how I started my journey with GSOC as well, because I was very much interested. But obviously I didn't think it would be true until my third year of college that there's a possibility. When an HR from Google contacted me that we are looking for new hires and would you like to share your resume, then I thought there could be one possibility that could happen. And also, so one of our seniors, 2020 graduate from UIT, Tarun, named Tarun, you might know him. Yeah, so he was kind of the role model who set up the mark very, very high. That yes, from UIT, straight from UIT, you can get into Google, right? So it was not something that I imagined as a kid, but eventually in college, I thought that this would be really great if it could, become the reality.
Yeah, like so, like your peer groups matters a lot when you came in college and explore different things.
Yeah, exactly. Seniors and peers have the most effect, more than teachers or anyone else, I guess.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Like, okay, so which roadmap did you follow?
So I could start from first year if you're talking about roadmap, but that would be very lengthy.
Like from the very beginning.
Okay. Yeah, of course. So in the very beginning, when I came to college, I didn't have much experience in coding. I knew a little bit C++, C++. I knew some concepts, but I didn't have much experience, to be honest, developing any project or anything like that. So there was a club in our college named DIG, Design and Innovation Group. So it was the only technical group at that time that we had in college, who had that presence in college. So I thought I'll join this club. So luckily I got into it, and the seniors were really great. So there were fourth year seniors, and obviously because they were in fourth year, they had a lot of experience of those 4 years of college. And when they were preparing for their placements, they used to guide us as well. That helped a lot actually. And there were other seniors as well who were taking classes like introduction to Git, introduction to open source, introduction to Linux. So these kind of classes, and even if you don't attend the whole thing, you just attend the first 1 hour of the intro session, then you actually get your hands dirty with those concepts, and then you can go to home and explore more, right? So it is only about the initiation phase, I should say, that requires more energy and patience. So that actually helped a lot. So I started my journey with Python, like doing simple programs in Python and developing certain small games or projects in Python. And like you have these things like Battleship game, and I don't remember the names, Hangman, I guess. So these small games, and these were really big achievements for me at that time, because out of nowhere I was doing developing these certain computer programs that actually making my laptop do something for me, right? Making the software do something. So that was really mind-blowing for me at that time. So after this, I spent like 4 to 5 months doing these only, plus obviously classes of C were there, so I was brushing on those concepts as well. After that, I got to know something like GSOC exists, and there is this amazing students program that Google has announced for, and also there were others also. So our GSOC is there, the Girls School of Summer of Code. and like one or two more are there. I'm not names are not hitting my head right now, but
No worries.
I applied to all of them and got rejections from many. But in GSOC, I was somewhat serious, so I started contributing from a long time ago, like 2 to 3 months before the application started. So I filtered down the organizations that used Python and those and which were selected in the past years for GSOC. And I started contributing to those organizations. Koala was one of them, and my contributions were pretty good in that. And obviously, because I only knew Python, I didn't know any framework on top of it, and I was not willing to concentrate on any framework or project or framework at that time. So I thought I'll just go with the organizations that are using simple Python. So I contributed to them and eventually got into GSOC, submitted a proposal, and so that was also a very big achievement, like for me myself, because I couldn't think, even after writing the proposal, I would not have imagined that this would actually come true. So that was
It's a very
also
great
a
thing
great
to crack
experience.
in first
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, thank you. But it was a great achievement for me because the more you challenge yourself, the more you will get out of yourself. So if you'll think about other people, then uh, obviously you are not at the lowest and you are not at the highest anytime in your life. So concentrate on yourself and just challenge yourself as much. And then there was this 3 months, amazing 3 months of GSOC, and obviously the project went well, and everything. And after that, so this was my first year, rounded up mostly. In second year, I concentrated on Django and backend, mostly backend, SQL, these things. And also they were in our college curriculum as well, so that helped too. Um, but mostly the backend concepts, core computer science concepts I focused on. Other than that, I was developing certain personal projects so that I could, get my hands dirty on actually developing something. Simple projects like a website or a blog site that has a working backend as well. Simple things like these. So that was mostly my second year. At the end of second year, so some of our college seniors had this startup going on called Rethink UX, and in that I developed certain projects for client projects, and some of them are actually live. So that was also great experience. So after that, after second year, I mostly concentrated on competitive programming. Like at the starting at the end of second year, I could say. So at that time, because I knew that placements were coming and I needed, I really wanted to get a good job. So I started working, I started working so that I could crack the big IT companies. So the journey started. Like I don't know if any of you have seen that video of Coding Ninjas, but my journey specifically
Everyone
started
has
from
seen that video.
okay.
Everyone.
Then whatever I told you before, you already knew.
Yeah.
Mostly. Okay.
Most of
So
the things.
yeah, at that time I was just scrolling Insta, and there I found this ad of competitive programming, and it was in the back of my head that I don't know where to start. So before this, I would go to random questions and on Hacker Earth or Hacker and I can do them, but they were not really making that much sense to me, because in every question there was certain different approach of doing it, and it was just puzzling my mind. There was no thought process behind that, rather than just seeing the question, thinking of the question for some like an hour or so, and then going to the solution, realizing, oh, this could be one approach that you could that you could use to solve such questions. So so I thought, like, okay, maybe let's give it a try. So I started doing that, and I found the course really interesting. So it is not about that it was a Coding Ninjas course, so it was really good. It was good because obviously the teachers were good, but nowadays I see that there are very like it is very common for YouTubers to make certain playlists, like So before, at my time, there were no course playlists. Yeah, I could say like video to video playlists that actually link together into a course. But nowadays like there are hundreds of YouTubers making such content,
Yes,
so
yes.
you could go to any of those. But yeah, one thing that I missed. So at the end of my second year, when you have data structures as well in your curriculum,
Yes.
so at that time I got my data structure concepts very clear. So uh, so if any of you know Akashdeep sir, then he's a great mentor for data structures. He's a bit strict when it comes to lab and other things, but his concepts are really clear, and he made us sit through each and every lab and implement every little thing in data structures, like literally every little operation, every little concept, whatever he taught. So that was actually very much helpful. At that time it used to piss us off because we used to have this huge homework for each and every lab. But after that, when I started doing competitive programming, I realized that it was pretty good. It was pretty helpful that we actually did implement those things. After that, yeah, so I was mostly concentrating on coding ninjas for like 5 to 6 months, and only doing the course and nothing else. So that actually helped. And after that, I started getting into platforms like CodeChef, Code Courses, and actually doing those questions. I started with CodeChef long challenges, and eventually got into Code Courses challenges, which were more like time restricted. Other than that, I also used to practice on Hacker Earth, Top Coder, or the platform, or whatever contests that I could lay my hands into. And I had an amazing peer group. So some of my batchmates from CSC and IT, we are still friends, and some of them are at amazing places like Amazon. Um, but we used to have this group and used to discuss questions among ourselves. So that was also very much helpful, because even if you are not studying and you are only having fun discussing questions, laughing about them, that also helps your brain to work actually, and like not pacify itself. So that also helped a lot. Other than that, yeah, so after all these things, when I saw that okay, now interviews are near, so when Goldman Sachs was announced to come, I started doing cracking the coding interview book, and it was also very helpful for cracking the interviews for Goldman, for my Goldman interview, because Goldman focuses more on data structures. In fact, every fintech focuses more on data structure based questions rather than algorithm based questions. Pure tech companies like Amazon or Microsoft, they will always have questions that are like based on dynamic programming, graphs, and all these things. Not so much on data structures, but fintechs focus more on like asking questions about linked list, trees, these things. So that book helped me a lot in cracking Goldman Sachs. After that, I started laying my attention more on lead code, mock interviews, these things, so that I could like really prepare myself for um, the interview specifically, and not so much into doing competitive programming, because competitive programming questions are a little bit on the tougher side. They use a lot of maths and statistics as compared to like questions based that an interview would ask. So that was kind of my journey. Yeah, if you have any questions, please go ahead.
No, well, it sounds so motivating that you have done a lot in your like college years, and you make a lot of it, basically, if I say. And after listening your words, I have concluded some points like that your peer groups matters a lot. So when you join any college, make sure कि आपका एक peer group हो जो आपका help कर रहा हो आपके overall development के लिए, I think that matters a lot in your journey, your peer groups and your own hard work. And yes, many of the participants have asked about the roadmap which you have followed. So I guess कि you guys have got the very clear idea like how did ma'am started and how much hard work she had put on and how she reached there. So, ma'am, like, what's your advice to the participants? They are from first, second, and third year, and I guess some of are from fourth year as well. So, what advice do you want to give them?
So for students who are in third and fourth year, mostly please concentrate on competitive programming if you focus on getting into big tech companies. So data structures, competitive programming, like this is the right time to start or do that. So not so much into projects or programming stuff. More focus on just competitive programming, doing lead code, mock interviews, and fill out all of the possible job applications as much as you can. So I've seen people who do not fill out certain applications. So for example, a student would not fill out Amazon as of yet because he is not ready for it, and then they will wait for next opportunity to come. So don't do that. As soon as an application is out there, please fill it out. You get your time to prepare, and if you will not have a deadline for it, then you will loosen yourself and not prepare as much as you will in case of a hard deadline, right? So, and all the best for the upcoming placements. So other than that, the students who are just starting out like in second year, just do certain projects, full stack projects, anything that you are interested in, game development, cybersecurity, anything. Just do certain projects that you could show up in your resume, right? They need not be working projects, and it would be good if they are. They can be like certain simple uh, projects, like even a website or a blog site. That will also do, right? And for students who are in first year, then they must be overwhelmed with all these things that I told that. So uh, just chill and learn. There is no hurry. Learn at your own pace, and eventually you'll like figure out things as you go. So it is like a 4-year journey, and 4 years is a lot if you think.
Ma'am, when we, when the forms are out, we, ask participants to ask any question that you want to ask to, the. So many of the participants have asked like they were so amazed that you have cracked GSOC in the first year. So I guess almost every first year participant has asked, how did this possible? How is it possible? Like how ma'am did this? So ये question ये बहुत ज़्यादा repetitive question था. So I guess that you got the answer like how did she perform really well. So ma'am, like as you told and as we have seen on your LinkedIn profile that you were a summer analyst intern at Goldman. So as of now the applications are open. So उसके लिए क्या एडवाइस देना चाहोगे आप कि दो सेकेंड ईयर एंड थर्ड ईयर स्टूडेंट्स who are going to apply for it, like what minor and major things they need to keep in mind for
Yeah,
summer
sure.
analyst intern?
So specifically for Goldman Sachs or any other fintech company like Dish or Morgan Stanley, they focus more on data structures, as I've already told, and also they have on the test or the screening round, like students must have done their research, I think, by now. But just to remind, there is this MCQ part as well. So general aptitude based questions they also ask. So be prepared for that as well. Other than that, I guess I don't know if they're off campus or on campus. For me, Goldman Sachs came on campus. So if it is off campus, then competition is a bit high. So even to get screened from the test, you have to perform really well. Like all the aptitude questions have to be done in a timely manner because there is a very hard time restriction on that. So just all the best to you all. Focus more on data structures and prepare as much as you can. And also, if you have time, Cracking the Coding Interview is a great book. You should read that as well.
Well, yes, sounds good. So if we go back to your SAFARNAMA, uh, and we know like you are a pro in digital art and you dance really well. Like I've seen your reels on Instagram and they are pretty amazing. You're working as a SD in like Google and intern like in so many tech giants. Like इतना सब कुछ किया आपने and अभी भी कर रहे हो. So basically एक क्वेश्चन आता है माइंड में, how did you manage your time? So basically you were good at time management from your very teenage, or you developed by this time in college itself?
So definitely developed by the time. So there is a point in your life when you realize you are wasting a lot of time doing certain things that are not at all helping, and they're actually demotivating you in the sense that they things make you realize that now is the time that you need to manage, do some time management. Like other than that, really, these are not big things that I do. So digital art I mostly used to do I started off in lockdown because the internship was getting a little bit boring because it was virtual and I had to like sit and do, and after 5 I was like mostly free, so I didn't have much to do. So I started this digital art at that time. Other than that, dancing is obviously because you need to do at least one thing to get your body moving. So in college, I didn't do anything because in college the schedule used to be a lot hectic because I lived here in Panchkula, like half an hour distance from my college. So I used to do up and down. So 1 hour traveling time also used to be there. So I didn't get much time to pursue any, I didn't go to gym or anything, any physical activity. So when you start working, you realize that you actually have to sit on your desk from morning till the evening, and like you don't move your body at all. So at that time I started, I started off gym, then I got bored from gym, and then I thought, okay, I'll just start with dance or something, Zumba or something. So that is how I got exposure to this. So nowadays my routine is quite simple. I get up in the morning, like start my work, and around 6 o'clock in the evening I get up, and 7 to 8 I go to dance and come back. And after 9:30, if I have certain meetings I attend. Other than that, I read certain books and just go off to sleep. So that is pretty much my schedule. During college, because I used to go to college, it was obviously different from yours. So I went to college, attended certain lectures, and whenever I had time in between lectures, I used to go to library set, or me and my friends, you just used to hang out and you know the small parks that we have in between UIT blocks. So just sit around there somewhere and do some competitive programming, or just sit and talk, refresh our minds, that kind of thing.
Well, that
So
sounds really good.
yeah, I think time management everyone figures out on themselves. So even if I sit around, give you a lecture, like make a timetable, then execute that timetable, I think that won't be correct because I didn't do anything like that. Even when I tried to do, I couldn't execute that thing, right? So
So
I would say
it
define
comes
your
on
goals
their
with a
own.
deadline. Yeah, define your goals with a certain deadline. Then you'll eventually find yourself executing those things, rather than setting certain time for certain things.
Well, great. So, guys, you can check out Pareksha Ma'am's digital art page on Instagram. The link will be in the description or in the chat box also. So just go and check it out. बहुत अच्छा page है. I've seen personally, and like yes, I just want to say like those are amazing. You did really well.
Okay, thank you,
So
but they're not amazing at all. It's just
no, but
something a
I
beginner could
like
do.
at personal level I liked a lot.
Okay, sure, thanks.
Okay. So if talking about like interviews process, so which company's interview process do you find the most rigorous one and the easiest one while comparing with each other?
Okay, so the most rigorous one would be, of course, Google. So Google's interview process was highly highly rigorous, that they screen a lot. So firstly you have this test, right? That the screening test that was skipped on my for me basically. Then this is there is an HR round, a very small round, and when the HR asks you back to fourth question, like a simple 5 to 6 MCQs, just to screen you a bit, see that you are actually a good candidate. And then you have this phone interview round where you have like a 1 hour standard interview, 45 minutes to be precise, 45 minutes interview. And mostly in all the interviews in Google, they will ask you either one hard question with a small follow-up question, or two medium level questions. They won't ask you like easy questions mostly. So after when you have cleared the phone interview, then there will be certain HR calls to you, and they will explain you the rest of the process and what to expect from your interviews. And after this, you'll have 5 interviews scheduled. So for me, it was 3 on one day and 2 on the other day. Some people have all 5 on one day as well. So quite hectic for those. And out of these 5, 4 are technical rounds. So they are called now virtual on-site rounds that happen on Google Meet, just like the phone interview. But previously, when the campus was open, they used to happen on the campus. So Google used to fund the tickets to the Bangalore campus or Hyderabad campus, and there they used to have, like, students used to have all 5 interviews on one day, on campus interviews. So for me, it was virtual. So just like the phone interview on Google Meet only, and 4 were technical rounds, and one of them was HR round, general HR questions they asked you. So, and even after this process, they make you wait quite a lot, because they're waiting for their head counts, interviewing a lot of other candidates as well. So after the 2 to 3 months after this, you'll get to know the results. So the whole process actually for me took like 7 to 8 months, which was quite like a pain in, you can say, because
Patience test.
patience test, yeah, kind of patience test. And every off campus is like that. And in off campus, mostly if you will not get a rejection mail, never, or you'll get it very late. But if you don't get an offer mail in like 2 to 3 months, so people usually assume that they are not selected and move on. So that is the right thing to do as well. In on-campus, so for example, in Goldman, the process was quite simple, and like not that much, didn't require that much patience. So you would get the results just at the time of interviews. Like there would be one interview, then second, then third, and then eventually they'll let you know that who is selected. So on that day only, like within 4 to 5 hours, whole of the process is wrapped up. So 4 to 5 hours versus like 6 to 7 months is a long gap, you can say.
So if like talking about the plus and minus, like from both the ends, from the company ends and from your ends, so what were those plus and minus?
So I don't think there is anything Google or any other company could do to make this process easier, because they also have to ensure that they get the best candidates. In off campus, obviously the number of candidates is high and the competition is high as well. So I would not say that it was I would not blame it on the company, but I'm just saying that get your minds ready for what is to come, if what to expect in an off-campus round or in an on-campus round. Other than that, I don't think there were any fallbacks from the company's side. So mostly the HR was responding to my calls and mails. So I used to follow up each and every month or so, just to check that if there is any update on my application. So HR was kind enough to reply to those. In Amazon, when you are having an off-campus round for new grads, they don't actually assign you a dedicated HR. So that makes things a bit tough because you cannot actually mail anyone there. So if you just write a mail to their student connect, or they'll just answer with an automated mail or not answer at all. So that was actually a thing that I did not like, but that is something again, I say, companies processes anyways, so you can't really do anything about it. Other than that, I think processes were quite smooth in all the companies.
So, like, what advice would you like to give for off-campus interviews?
I would say like give as many, because off campus companies, you can apply to any number of companies. There is no restriction from TPC or any from the college, right? So apply in as many as you can, even if they are not big tech companies. You'll just get a list of how off campus rounds are done, and you'll get some experience of interviewing. So apply in as many off-campus interviews as you can, in as many companies as you can, or from LinkedIn or from word of mouth, wherever you get to know. Other than that, I would just say remain patient, and don't bug the HR too much as well, and know that the process takes like 2 or 3 months to a minimum.
Well, that sounds really well, and I hope like our participants got a clear thinking how the process goes on. Like many of them has asked about like how to prepare for off campus, so I guess we have got an idea. So if I'm talking about your future plans, whether you are going to join any art school someday, as you are kind of interested in it, or like you are planning to get promoted in your technical career.
So, okay, I got very much interested in art when I was doing my internship. But when I got into Google, kind of the interest shifted again, and I like found my lost interest in again in tech. So the interest was not lost. It was only like the work in Amazon was not as exciting, uh, I guess, as the work in Google, as I find the work in Google. So in Google, like the work is quite interesting, and actually I'm hoping to learn a lot here. And nowadays I'm focusing on just my career and technical career, and dancing a bit. Other than that, digital art I have left for a while, so I'll be focusing on my technical career, I think.
It sounds pretty amazing. So like ये तो हुआ आपका सफरनामा. आपने like how did you really worked hard, and your dedication, your perseverance, like all things helped you landed in Google, and like I'm pretty sure like आप आगे भी ऐसे करते रहोगे. So ma'am, now it's time to discuss some general questions. So जो हम registration form के time पूछते हैं generally participants से. So there were hundreds of questions that our participants have asked, but yes, we can only ask some of them. So yeah, here is the first question on my screen. The participant has asked, as I'm not from CSE or IT branch, and for now I'm learning app development with Flutter. Is it good to learn these things, and how can I start my career with app development? And with this, he is asking why you have chosen a career as a software engineer.
Okay, so the answer to question why I have chosen software engineering. So even like after 12th standard, when I started in college, I was pretty sure that I wanted to go for computer science and not any other branch. I guess I was mostly fascinated from things like game development, AR, VR, you can say, not so much as to how you actually develop such stuff. So hence I was really firm on the branch that I wanted to choose. Other than that, the second question was around app development. So if you're not from CSE or IT background, so there is nothing to worry about. You can obviously like learn from your own. There are plenty of resources online. But what I would suggest is app development is okay, but you have to get your core concepts right first. So in CSC and IT, we have certain subjects like regarding SQL we have, then regarding backend we have subjects, then for networking we have. So these things, not so much of bookish things, but actually kind of the concepts help you as you grow. So these things are also very much important. Obviously, you can start with app development, but later when you want to get into software engineering, you will discover that these concepts are really important. If I focus on app development only, then you can choose anything. You can go with Flutter if you want to. You can go with React. You can go with simple Android or iOS, anything. And there are plenty of online resources out there that will help you, that will guide you even, like more than I could, basically. So all the best, and learn as much as you can. Put your hard work into it, and obviously you'll see the results later on. And I don't think placement companies put any restriction as to if only CSC and IT students are allowed to sit in the placements. You can actually apply, I think, for on campus also you can sit. So that I don't think there is anything to worry about. If you want to go for software engineering, then go for it.
Well, yes, I guess the participants must be very satisfied with the answer. And the second question on my screen is how you keep up with academics and co-curricular activities and stay motivated in your bad times.
Okay, so I this was not possible for me when I was in college, because there was a lot of stuff going on already. So you have these projects that you want to do, then you have competitive programming to do, and then college curriculum to, obviously you have your minors and majors coming up, and you have to focus on that as well. So kind of it was very difficult, or for me, like I didn't focus on any other extracurricular activity other than just doing the regular routine stuff, right? So like tech stuff. So when you are at work, so I told you, right, it is very difficult to do the same thing, work and work from day to night. So you need like some break in between of it, and then there you find that okay, you can pursue your extracurriculars here. So I think in job it will become easier than it is in college. And also the second thing I would say is, obviously always keep your extracurricular activity that you like more than programming, right? So, or equivalent to programming, so that you are willing to spend some time on it.
Well, that's pretty amazing. The next question on my screen is uh, yeah, on what things should we rely on? Teachers, books, online material, and how to be consistent even if it is our downfall while solving the problem in programming.
It is a very common thing. So if anyone has heard about imposter syndrome, then it happens to each and every programmer. So when you are not able to do certain uh, program, or you're not able to solve certain programming questions, competitive programming questions, then you feel that you are not worthy of a job in some companies, or you won't be able to do these, crack certain big companies. It happens to everyone, happened to me many a times. So you can't do anything else but to get up and do that question again, do more questions again. That is the only choice we have, I guess. And it not only happens when you are studying, it also happens when you are at job. So when I'm working and I'm not able to report a certain bug, I'm not able to find the source of certain bug, or not able to implement a design by myself, then I also face this imposter syndrome. And in our nuclear orientation sessions, we were told very clearly that this happens to each and everyone when in whatever phase of programming you are at, either you are a student or you are working. So it is the same for me as well. So you just get up and move ahead, I guess.
There is a question in the chat box. Naman Jain is asking, can we have your referral in few years? So Naman, you can connect through ma'am on LinkedIn. The link will be shared in the chat box. And the Prerna is asking, what are the things you will recommend one to learn before joining as an internet, Amazon, Google, or any big tech giant?
So, okay. So, if you are talking about the work that happens in these companies, so in Amazon, my work was mostly related to full stack development, backend development to be specific. Yeah, it was only backend development in Java. At that time, I didn't know anything about Java, so I took like 2 or 3 weeks to get myself familiarized with the concept, and then the road was quite simple because mostly oops concepts I know. So mostly, okay, it is about the concepts and not the particular framework or language or project that you are doing. If you are if you have cleared your concepts on like backend on like SQL and networking or database, soft operating system, then you are good to go. Then the implementation stuff you will learn as you work in that company. So for a programmer or a software engineer, mostly it is learning and working, because in whatever company you will go, tools will be different. They'll have their own internal tools, they'll have their own internal frameworks for doing certain things, right? So it is not necessary that you should know that framework, and mostly it is not the case that people know it. They just go in the company, have their project assigned to them, and learn these things and then implement it. So I would say concepts weigh much more than any other thing, like knowing any framework or language.
Okay. And the next question is, what platforms did you use to apply off campus?
Okay, so mostly LinkedIn, I would say. Other than that, in your peer group, if any job opening is there, then it is widely spread, I guess, because mostly your peers are applying, and then they forward these messages in groups. Then there were certain telegram groups that I was part of. So there also people used to forward job openings. So I would say just be aware of whatever is going on in your batch right now. And I guess TPC also sends some notifications if they have information on the off-campus round. So that should be more than enough as well.
So guys, you can connect on LinkedIn. The link will be shared in the chat box. So I found one very serious question while going through all the hundreds of questions, and that is, in the current scenario, minds are diverted towards getting a high package, and for that we just see that a fellow gets 1 CR package as a data analyst or a web developer or a SDE, and the influence among students and parents is very impactful. So what do you want to say to those people who blindly follow the paths of others without taking care of upcoming requirements or demands of the skills in the market? I just want to add on something to this question. In today's world, if you see around yourself, everyone is talking about FANG. Okay, whether on YouTube, it's Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. अब इन सबसे क्या हो रहा है कि everyone is running to get job in FANG and not allowing themselves to explore other opportunities that are maybe far more better than FANG. I'm not saying it's bad. Even getting placed in these companies, it's not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, it's one of the best career options out there for engineers. I believe it. But on the other hand, it's getting overhyped, just like we dream for IITs before joining into the college. Similarly, we start dreaming for these companies and restricting ourselves to explore the world. So what are your views on it?
Okay, so I would be very clear on this. So FANG companies offer you a very high pay, and that is why students get attracted to FANG companies, or any software engineer gets attracted to it. So, and not only it is not only even about the high pay, the jobs are very stable, and you get a lot of more incentives as well, like holiday gifts, bonuses, and all these things. They send you like gifts and swags like every few months or so. So those are also very attractive. But there are certain startups also that I would recommend you must try for. So there is Uber, there is Flipkart, like big startups like these. Also, certain small startups like Postman, Browser Stack, these type of companies are also there. These are also like very good companies. So what the caveat is here, in FANG companies, the development process is a bit slow. I would say a lot slower than startups, because they focus more on processes and they already have a lot of code written that they don't want to break. Right, so there will be processes like privacy reviews will be there, code reviews will be there, uh, long lengthy processes that will slow down your work a lot. So if you were to do a certain project in a month in a startup, in a growing startup, you will take around 5 months to do that same project in like Google, Amazon, or FANG companies, right? So it is what you really want. So if you want to focus more on your growth in a very short time, then you should go for small companies or startups. But if you want to learn the processes and how people work at scale, how they get things running and prevent bugs on a very high scale, for when we have a very huge user base, then you should try for FAN companies. So advantages and disadvantages are for both, but I would say that apply for all the companies. Don't filter out any companies, apply for all. After you get selected, think about this stuff. Do you really want to get into that company? Don't do this before you get, basically don't filter out applying for those companies basis on these things, because I have seen students who don't apply at first, and then after that, when their peers get selected, when their friends get selected, then they feel sad that I should have applied this. Or basically the mindset changes after that, after some months or so. So don't do that. Apply for all companies, even if they are very small startups, medium startups, funded startups, big FANG companies. Apply for all of them. After you get selected, then you can think about such stuff, whether
Well,
you actually want to go. Yeah.
very satisfactory and detailed answer. So, like, as we have come to an end of the event, I just want to ask few more things. Yeah, kind of rapid fire round. So, whatever things comes in your mind first, आप just वो बोल देना, ठीक है? So, the first question is, what advice would you like to give your younger self?
So you mean if I want to okay, if I want to go in the past and advise myself,
Yes.
then obviously one thing that I would advise is go to more offline events, because the corona time is coming. Then you won't be able to go into hackathons and tech events and attend tech conferences. So do that more.
Okay. Next question is, if I tell you to express your whole journey till now in just 3 words, then what are these words?
Okay, that would be, one would be obviously hard work. The other one would be support, and the last thing I guess would be I don't know, have fun, I guess.
Oh well, like it's the final and a fun question. रसोड़े में कौन था?
Oh, I don't know. There was this thing viral. I don't remember now.
Okay, so ma'am, it's been a really good session with you. I enjoyed a lot, and I hope our participants did enjoyed well. So thank you very much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to ask questions to you, and it was so informative and fun talking to you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, from my side, good luck to all of you, like for placements, fourth year students, third year students, and everyone for the journey ahead in college and after college as well. Good luck and work hard, do your best.